Howdy, folks. Widget Walls from NeedCoffee.com here. Back again for another Wayhomer review. Here's how it works for the uninitiated. I've just left the cinema, which is over there. Oh my God, stop. Rental car. We have no idea how any of it works. Oh, yes. There you go. Hi. You kids in your newfangled cars. We just left the cinema. It's over there somewhere through the cold and the dark. And I've seen a film, and I'm going to tell you about that film on my way home. And tonight, we're here to talk about Homefront. Okay, so, Homefront. Synopsis. Jason Statham, you probably have guessed about 75% of the content of the film by me starting with the words Jason Statham. Is a former federal agent who has decided to retire with his daughter and go back to where his late wife grew up and try to just start over, rebuild a life, all that good stuff. However, because it's that sort of movie, trouble cannot be far away. I have to keep my camera person warm. So, trouble cannot be that far away. Trouble in the form of James Franco, who is your big bad in the film, one of them. And since he is the local meth purveyor of meth, and he is Jason Statham is a former DEA agent, you can pretty much be guaranteed that they're going to have a disagreement of sorts. And that disagreement is probably going to involve lots of punching and things blowing up. I mean, that's your synopsis right there. Okay, so here's the thing. I know, yes, Jason Statham and all that good stuff. I like him. I like his movies. I like the fact that here's a guy who's like former Olympic level swimmer and model, and of the people who were involved with Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, the last person I would have expected to be churning out, you know, some of his films are better martial arts films than Jet Li movies, which is just crazy. But good for him. But you could tell from the trailer that this is kind of that. This is almost too long to be actually a subgenre, but it really is. The former guy who knows how to handle himself comes back to a small town which is actually extremely corrupt and has this entire, you know, underbelly of seediness and crime and corruption, and then has to clean up the town. All of that has hyphens between it. That's the subgenre. And these films exist. You've seen them. So you sort of know what you've got going into the film. And it was written by Sylvester Stallone, the man who, you know, brought you Rocky. So I went into this thinking, okay, I know what this is. I have seen so many of these sort of films back during the day when there was nothing else to do other than go to the corner video store, which was roughly the size of this car, and systematically, because there was nothing else to do, go through every single film, genre by genre, in alphabetical order, and just watch them, one by one. That's what we did. Kids, ask your parents. So I knew that what I wanted to see was, I wanted to see Jason Statham deliver beatdowns, because he's very good at doing it. I wanted to see James Franco chew some scenery, because he's good at that too. And, I wanted it to just sort of hold together. You know what I mean? As not go too far overboard in any one direction, but just sort of be what it's supposed to be, that subgenre of film, and deliver upon that promise. That's what I want. My needs were humble, I think. So, number one, Jason Statham. Does he provide beatdowns? Yes, he does. He provides a significant amount of beatdowns. They're I don't think you can ever say, wow, there were too many beatdowns in that film, especially in a world that's post the raid. It's sort of hard to have too many beatdowns in a film, especially if they're delivered with, a lot of creativity and ingenuity and, yes, violence. There is something to be said for that. So he, in fact, delivered. I'd like to also point out that the new little actress who's playing his daughter also delivered a beatdown, which was quite entertaining, and good for her. So number one, sorted. Number two, James Franco. James Franco doesn't go quite as over the top as I would have liked. I mean, if you see the poster when there's all these cinders flying and he's got that sort of I'm being sinister James Franco look about him, I would have liked more of that, but I thought he did well. He has saved so many films from being utterly bland that I was totally fine with him. I'd like to also point out that his partner in crime in this is Winona Ryder, and as Cosette pointed out, leaned over and whispered, she has a picture in her attic. She must, because that's just freaky. So yes, so number two, yeah, decently taken care of. James Franco, scenery chewing, good. Number three, what I mean by I want the film to hold together, there has to be a certain ratio of suspension of disbelief plus beatdowns. And you know what I'm talking about. If there is just a solid wall-to-wall beatdowns, then you're probably done well. Then you're probably enjoying yourself so much that it doesn't quite matter how ridiculous things become on the screen, because the film's pretty much ridiculous through and through. But if you have the wrong ratio of, say, trying to be realistic to silliness, then you can have a problem. Completely unbelievable things happening, things that make no sense, characters doing things that they never should have done, not even in a silly action film, that sort of thing. Herein lies the problem. The problem is there are not one, not even two, but count them, three incredibly silly things that happen that absolutely make no sense and could have been avoided. That's the thing. I mean, in one of these films, I can honestly say one or two things that pivot the plot so that there can be more beatdowns and gunfire. I'm all in favor of those, okay? But if you've painted yourself into a corner and you basically have to go, oh well, this happens and thus more violence, that's fine. But if that's your only option, but when it's not your only option and you're sitting there basically rewriting the scene in your head, oh, here's how you could have done that and had it made sense in pretty much the same amount of time, and it's not like I'm envisioning a bunch of, CG created winged llamas descending and providing this information. No, I'm actually figuring out how this would work within the confines of the plot that you've created. That's what drives me crazy. In fact, one or two, even things that are just senseless. But by the time you get to the third one, it's sort of like, no character would have done this, especially a father who's supposed to be good at, or at least decent at being a father. And without providing any spoilers, I'd just like to give a few pro tips. If you have, in fact, been an undercover DEA agent and, completely shut down a huge drug operation and gotten some people killed, move far away. There's an idea. And number two, be very careful where you store your classified documents. Probably someplace secure, any place more secure than where they were stored in the film. Pretty much any place would be more secure than where they stored them in the film. That's a pro tip as well. Those are just two of the three incredibly silly things that happened that made this even sillier than a Jason Statham film, a Jason Statham punch fest should be. And that's where it sort of lost me. And like I said, if there was a good, healthy doses of, oh, well, here's to pay off on that silliness that we've had to watch you deal with. Here is a here is this incredibly elaborate fist fight. But there just wasn't enough of that to sort of balance it, and thus the whole thing just sort of falls over, which is distressing, to say the least. So, overall, even though 1 and 2 delivered, number 3 is really important, because as I've said before, if you tell my brain to go to sleep, it will sleep through, and it will be grateful for the chance to shut up and go away. But if you do too much silliness, it will wake up and it will be angry. And that's what happened. So, as far as, first of all, as far as seeing it, if you enjoy these films and you don't care about the silliness, if you are simply there to, tolerate the bits of plot that don't involve fists, then you might be okay. Catch a matinee. In fact, wait and catch it at your second run cinema if you can. I think you'll be fine. But for most people, this is going to be a sort of wait for your Netflix queue to get shallow. Let's put it that way, and I think you'll be fine. I wish I could report something different, but it's like it's not as fun and not as crazy as something like, say, The Transporter. It's not even on a scale with that classic of guy who can handle himself must deal with things in the backcountry and fight to save everything that he holds dear, i.e. Roadhouse, and you know who you are. It doesn't even hold a candle to something like that. So that's distressing. So cup-wise, I was going to go, honestly, for 1 out of 5. But I thought, no, that's being a little harsh. So because it is the time of Thanksgiving and the holidays and whatnot, I am going to be merciful and give a half a cup back. So it's 1.5 cups out of 5, and I think that's reasonable. So I wish I could have provided you with better news, but that's pretty much it. And everyone involved got a paycheck, and we're happy for it. So I think that pretty much sums it up for this Wayhomer. It's a pretty straightforward movie, fairly straightforward, if albeit rambling. I can't even talk. Rambling review. So thanks so much for watching. If you do enjoy these reviews, then please do us a favor, because show the same mercy that I showed to this film, and pick 2 of your favorite social networks and share it on those social networks, whether it's Facebook or Pinterest or Waffle Iron or whatever it is that I'm sure there is one called Waffle Iron. If not, it'll be invented by the time I finish talking. Share it on that and spread the love of the Wayhomer reviews, because that's what we're about, folks. It's all about love. So until next time, I am Widget Walls, and we'll see you on the Wayhomer reviews. Bye!